Welcome everybody, François Letat for my role-playing channel. So I'd like to ramble a little bit about something pretty random about a role-playing game. So I was thinking about my top favorite role-playing games lately. I did a video in French showing them. I can name them again. And I was taking out some of the dumb reason I wasn't playing them, but I think with the dumb reason, there's an official reason, which is I don't have the time. So we all know about this reason. We can't have all of our role-playing games at the same time, okay? So you have to make choices, and the role-playing game I'm practicing these times around, which I talk a little bit, I talked about it a lot, in fact, in my last videos, is that French D&D-like game called D30-19, and that's pretty much where I stand so far, because I have good reasons to go there, okay? I can use that game into my high school assignments to run game for teenagers, and that game has enough interest to entertain any type of groups. Even veteran groups could find themselves into a game like that. So, and I have a lot of demand for fantasy, okay? Right now I'm maybe about to start a new campaign, adult campaign, and that's what I will use, okay? To be honest, it feels like I don't want to get involved with more than one game at a time when I'm a GM. Okay, I used to be able to maybe run 2 or 3 different game systems and all such, but no, I don't have any interest in doing that. It's kind of it's too demanding, okay? It takes too much of my own energy, and I want to have positive energy when it comes to role-playing. So I'd rather run one game at a time. I can make exceptions for one-shots like the Dragonist Festival that is upcoming, so where I do try, usually every time I go in conventions and I know that I will run one-shots, I make an effort and I usually try the games that are sleeping on my shelves and just wants to be played. So it's a reason for me to get them out and try them out and make some discoveries. I've discovered a lot of pretty nice games through that. Like this year's, I will do some Fantasy Flight Star Wars, okay? This will be the first time, as a GM, I did it. I was involved in a game, the convention game, a couple of years back, and but the GM was bad. Okay, he was not doing a very good job, so I came out of this session without really knowing without having an opinion on Fantasy Flight Star Wars, since overall the story was bad. So whatever the system it was, it kind of just didn't hit the spot. Otherwise, this year I'm running Labyrinth, based on the movie of the same name. Pretty simple game, I must admit. There's not much of a game system. It's pretty basic. What makes this game great, by the way, is the labyrinth itself, the way you handle it. Okay, you travel through the labyrinth. You have all of 100 scenes, okay, in the book, but you travel through them randomly. Okay, you roll a dice to determine where it will go after. So you don't visit all of the rooms. It will be very improbable, but might happen. But these are 2 examples of one-shot games, okay, that I won't usually play outside of this. I have a list of games that are my favorites, but I won't jump into them. Okay, I have the space for one game, like I said, Chroniques Oubliées, because there's a need for it. But if it was not for Chroniques Oubliées, what I would do? The choice would be hard. on Régime Diabolique, which is in my top. Okay, this is a top game, but what is the dumb reason? Well, it will need me a little work to get that running, so yeah, I will need to be really focused. And well, I have a hard time getting this game outside of the context which I usually run this game. Okay, we used to have this campaign, and yeah, it's been mostly 2 years since we haven't played. 1 year, about a year and a half since we haven't played. But you know, it's so stick with what happened there that, well, another game is the Savage World game system. I don't know with what setting I would use it. I have many things. A game that I find very exciting, to tell the truth. Game system that I really love. Every time I played it, I was a player. I mean, most of the experience I had with it, I really loved the way the game ran. It's a very exciting game that you play with your friends. So yeah, in what context? I have a couple of books. I don't know. Maybe that's the problem exactly. I don't know with what I would use it, and well, I would need to kind of study the game. Okay, the game has a way to work, and I would really like to get into it and be able to plunge myself. Another French role-playing game called Nanochrome, which is a cyberpunk game. This is pretty much a toolbox to run cyberpunk games by the Grumpf, one of my favorite game author of all time. So the Grumpf, well, a little, well, it has the same problem as, let's say, All for One and Savage Worlds. I would need to plunge into it. This is not an instinctive game, but this is a very good game, and I would need to find some people to share that with them. Yeah, because it has some game mechanics that are kind of left field a little bit. Okay, more narrative. But when I read the book, you know, it was kind of, yeah, this is the kind of role-playing game I'd like to practice. Okay, it's many subsystem rules that are pretty exciting. Subsystem rules, how to manage your gear, how you manage your contacts, how to create factions when you're a game master. Pretty clever tricks to do them. How to manage when the players are about to get into a mission, they can buy themselves in advance. You know, they kind of state out what is the plan, and while they're making the plan, they gain some plan points that they can spend during the adventure to maybe bypass some dangers. But that doesn't mean that there will be other dangers. Okay, that game has a lot to offer, and a complete toolbox in one book. Advanced Fighting Fantasy. Well, the dumb reason is that I'm already into fantasy stuff. Okay, I'm already doing it with Chroniques Oubliées. I'd like to get back to Advanced Fighting Fantasy. It's one of my top fantasy role-playing game. And but at the same time, what I realized throughout the years, I don't know if I've made a video of that, but I realized that that game is not for everyone. You need to have players who are fighting fantasy books fan to understand why this game mechanic, this game system works that way. Because otherwise, people who are not used to fighting fantasy game books might wonder why bother doing a rule like that or like that. But it comes with the feel of those books, and someone who enjoyed fighting fantasy game books will more easily understands where that game system, that, you know, portions of those rules, well, where do they come from, okay, and why they're here, and what should they represent. It's more a feel thing. Okay, it's not, I'm not saying that the rules are making sense all the time, but they're not making sense all the time in the game books too, so it kind of comes with the feeling. And the last book I have stated in my French video, okay, was the Men in Black role-playing games. Not for the game system though, as it is, okay, but for the setting. I'm a fan of the setting, and the last time I used it with the D6 variant rule system from the Grumph again, called Little Six in English, which is a game system that I really enjoy. It's a good way to approach a D6 system. The dumb reason for that is that, well, that game is not suited for campaigns that much. That it's not the setting for campaigns. When you get into campaigns, you get into dramas and stories and arcs, and even though you can laugh yourself out through a whole campaign, you know, the basics of a campaign is something serious, okay? There's something serious behind it, and that's not Men in Black, in my opinion, okay? You don't get into the drama of your backstory. Okay, yeah, in the movie we get into the drama of Jay, but it was more for an episode, okay? That is something for today's plot, but it's not an arc. So and the problem is I'm not into one-shots these times around, you know. If I would have more space to do one-shots, probably this game would come back a little more often. This is a great one-shot game. You can make a series of one-shot, but it's not really meant to make campaigns, okay, in my opinion. So that's pretty much it, okay? I only have space for one game. My mind is set for one game, so all those games that I love, well, will have to wait. So up to a point, maybe I will have space for that, or I will stop doing Chroniques Oubliées. But since the high school gigs are pretty appreciated, I have a feeling I will stay long into Chroniques Oubliées, which is okay, because I feel that's a game that will offer me a lot for many time to come, okay? Well, that's pretty much my ramble for today. So François Letarte for my role-playing channel, and up to next time, I hope you have as much fun in your life as in your games. Goodbye.